Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. Well, we got the markets continuing to march higher, right? We're right looking at that 5,000 on the S&P. You see, a lot of people tell me I've got this all wrong. I've got this all wrong. We're going to blow through 5,000, hit 6,000, hit 7,000. The moon boys are out there talking, and they're talking about the easy money to be made in the stock market. Now, I'm kind of an older guy. No, there's no easy money to be made in the stock market. It may be easy for a short while, but what's coming is going to take that easy money away. Right now, we got a lot of retail buying in that 5,000 number on the S&P, a nice round number. Maybe we even break a little over that. I don't think so, but it's possible. We're not that far away from it, but I do think this market's going to come in. I think we're forming a major top, but I'm telling you, a lot of these retail buyers, a lot of the moon boys, I mean, they believe this is the new bull market and we're going straight to the moon. Now let's think about this. In 1929, what did people believe? What did they believe? They believed the party would never stop. The party would keep going. 1929, what happened? We had the crash in 1930, right? Okay, so the party did come to an end. This party will also come to an end. What happened in 1999? Oh, the dot-com companies were just making money hand over fist. I mean, it looked really good. But then 2000 came. What happened? The crash. But the crash bros, I'm a crash bro. That's what they call me. But the other moon boys, they'll tell you this is impossible for this market to crash. It's impossible. And we'll see. Maybe they're right. Maybe it can only go up. I don't know. We've already gone up 15 years in a row, which would be the longest bull run ever without a bear market. Okay, 15 years, no bear market. That would be 50% longer than the next longest span. So eventually you're going to see a bear market again. Now the Fed, they'll tell you it's impossible. We're not going to see a bear market. You actually want a bear market. You actually want a recession, because otherwise you're going to skip right over the recession, enter the depression. That's just how it's going to play out. That's just my take. Your take may be completely different. But what we have happened last week, we had the jobs number come out. Jobs number, I mean, this is incredible. All right. So they were predicting 185,000 new jobs, and they came out with 353,000. I mean, that's almost double, right? I mean, who are these people predicting the jobs numbers? Really, who are they predicting? Maybe they should be fired. They're not doing a very good job. Or is it just the government lying to you? That's a possibility, right? Oh, but Mike, the government would never lie to us. They always tell us the truth. And maybe they do. It's just my take that these numbers are not exactly what they appear to be. You see, January, we had 83,000 layoffs, right? That's the most layoffs in a January. You got to go back to 2006 to get 83,000 layoffs in January. But yet the job market's booming. And we have proof of the booming job market. Just look at the 10 cities, how fast they're growing. The job market must be really booming with the 10 cities growing. They're growing fast, right? Okay. Well, these unemployment numbers, it's basically at a historic low, right? Historic low. Okay. So what's happening really? Well, what's happening is we're losing these full-time jobs. We're lost 83,000 layoffs. Those were full-time jobs, right? And those 83,000 people had to go and take 2 or 3 part-time jobs. So instead of 83,000 job losses, we really created 240,000 jobs, because that's just what they had to do. They had to go take 3 part-time jobs to make up for the full-time job that they lost. Now, okay. So now where do top of the market happen at? Now, do they happen on good news? See, this would be considered really good news. And maybe that's where the top of the market happens. Maybe that's what's going to start to send the market down. And I know the moon boys say it's impossible, but I do think the market's going to come down. The markets tend to top out when there's good news. The markets tend to bottom out when there's bad news. That's just how it works, right? I mean, it gets to a certain extreme where we can't go any higher and the good news comes out and then it's over. I see this. Now I want to talk a little bit today about the housing market. I didn't read a lot of articles over the weekend, believe it or not. I was actually busy working. Okay. All right. So I get this listing, right? And it's a new listing. This is the first weekend we're going to have an open house. Now, this is incredible. It's a tale of, well, the very wealthy people versus the very poor people, right? Okay, so there's two sides of town, right? There's a bad side of town. There's a good side of town. Now, this house was listed in extremely good side of town. It's a Cupertino, let's call it, right next to the Apple computer campus. Everybody wants to live there. Everybody wants to go to Cupertino School District. I went there. It wasn't really that great, but that's where people want to send their kids because, they don't have to pay for the private schools if they can get into the good public schools, so they pay more for the houses. But on the other side of town, the open houses this weekend, very few people, hardly anyone, no offers. Very interesting. That's on that side of town. Let me tell you about the rock and roll party I had this weekend. Listed the house on Friday. Listen, and we're just going to use rough numbers. $3 million, right? $3 million. All right. Listed it on Friday. I listed it on Friday. I'm having the open house Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So listed it on Friday and I already get offers, right? People are begging me to take it off the market. Please take my money. All cash, full price. $200,000-$300,000 over the asking price. All cash. That's incredible. That's just incredible. I figured I'd hold at least one open house for the people, make them think that I'm doing some work. Us real estate agents, we don't do any work, but I had to pretend like I was. So I held an open house, right? Open house goes from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay, open house from 1 to 4. That's interesting. Okay. All right. So anyways, I get there about 12:45, a little bit early. I don't even put any open house signs out. People now can go on the internet, and the old days we'd put the signs up, and now the agents that put the signs up, they're just advertising for new business. I'm not really looking for new business. I'm busy enough. I'm a semi-retired guy. I don't need the new business. So I don't put any open house signs up. But there's about 8 people out in front, right? Waiting to get in. Okay. Well, I come and I let them in. Over the next 3 hours, over 300 people came through the open house. And I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, I don't want to make this a racist comment, but I was the only white boy in the whole open house, right? Okay, my area, you got the Asian community, you got the Indian community. That's just the way it is, but okay, so I'm the white guy and I'm a tall white guy. I stick out. All right. But anyways, you got 300 people walking around and they're talking all these different languages. I don't know what anybody's saying, but they all got their cameras out. And they're filming this house like it's a Mick Jagger concert. They got their cameras out there. They're filming the house. I thought Mick Jagger really was going to show up. I don't really get it. I mean, this is like a 1,400 square foot house. It's really not that exciting. It's all original. Now, one of my favorite comments, I overheard this lady talking to her realtor. She's going, for $3 million, you'd think they'd throw a dishwasher in. I mean, this is all original. There's no dishwasher in the house. Never has been a dishwasher in the house. It's all original. It's outdated. It needs to be remodeled. Maybe it's a complete tear down. I mean, the lot, the 6,000 standard square foot lot, but a lot of people just tear the house down and build brand new ones. There is so much money out there, but you got to understand why. Now, you got to understand where this is. See, this is right next to Apple Computer. I mean, we got Facebook there, Meta now, called Meta. We got Google there, right? We got Yahoo. We got all the top companies. Microsoft has moved in. I mean, the 7 top companies that are pulling this market up, well, they're pulling the price of this house up. I mean, 300 people in 3 hours. It was insane. Of course, the offers came flooding in that day. I sealed it up that night. I mean, we took an offer way over list price, way, way, way beyond anyone's imagination. My client's jumping up and down. I'm jumping up and down. I had to work 2 days. You can do the numbers. Commission on $3 million. Well, you guys figure it out. I mean, you can leave me the hate comments, but hey, 2 days, right? I mean, my hourly wage was pretty good. Now you can laugh at me and go, well, Mike, your YouTube hourly wage, what's that? Well, they pay me about a couple dollars an hour to do these things. It's funny when I get the comments, people think I get clickbait to get the views. I clickbait to try to build the community a little bit. I agree with that, but it's really, I don't do this for the money. There is no money in making YouTube videos. I do this because I love coming out here and talking to you guys and telling you about this insanity. There's insanity going on. So once again, I'm going to use rough numbers. All right, so $3 million sale. And now they've held this house. They were the original owner, right? They were the original. They bought this house for $15,000. $15,000. The person buying it at $3 million, his property tax is going to be, well, it'll be twice as much as the person paid to buy the house, right? Okay, so my question to you is, someone leave me a comment. But okay, we went from 15,000 to 3 million on this house. 200 times it multiplied. 200 times it went up. It's built back roughly 1960, let's call it. But okay, 200 times. Now, if the people that buy it now for $3 million and goes up 200 times, what would it be? Well, it'd be about $600 million. Now, is there going to come a time where everybody that owns a house is a billionaire? Now, the Moon Boys will tell you, of course, just buy a house. You're going to be a billionaire. Now, granted, a loaf of bread's going to cost you $2,000, but what the heck, right? But okay, now you see over the years, the cost of money, I mean, the houses, they went up a lot. I agree with that. But it's really the money keeps going down. The purchasing power keeps going down. There's going to come a time now in Zimbabwe, everybody's a billionaire. Everybody's a trillionaire. You can get $1 trillion note in Zimbabwe, cost you about $1. Now, I don't want to see the United States go that way. That's why we got to stop printing the money. But these are big, giant bubbles, right, in the housing market. Now, granted, like I'm talking about, this is on one side of town. The other side of town, no offers, nobody going through the open houses. They're reducing the prices. And the prices aren't really going up on this side, but there is a lot of activity keeping them at extremely high rates. I have a friend, he just moved here from Dallas, Texas, and he can't afford to buy a house here. He only makes $500,000 a year. You cannot afford to buy a house where he wants to buy. It's just not possible. He needs a raise. He needs to double it. He needs to get $1 million a year. But he's trying to sell his place in Dallas, Texas right now. Now, Dallas, Texas, he had it listed at $1.8 million. And he had an offer at $1.7 million. Now, he turned it down. He thought he could get 1.8. You know what he's got it listed for now? 1.2. 1.2. A lot of places in the country, prices have already plummeted. I mean, they're already coming back to earth. They're already getting back to pre-pandemic numbers. Now, granted, where I live, I live where those, all those major companies, those 7 that are pulling up the stock market, they're all my next door neighbors, right? On this side of me, 2 guys, the couple works at Facebook. This side, they work at Apple. Across the street, they work at Google. I mean, these are it's just like people working there. Well, you ask what I do. I go make YouTube videos. Oh, that's what I do. Anyways, it's a long story, but that's what happened this weekend. 300 people through an open house. We only had one house to sell. Took me 2 days to sell it. But here's the thing. You see, people think these bubbles never break. These bubbles never break. I mean, you can go back to like the original bubble, one of the original bubbles, 1637, right? It's called the Tulip Bubble. Now, if you could get your hands on a genuine physical tulip bulb. You see, what the tulip bubble, a lot of people don't understand. It wasn't actually the physical tulips. It was gambling in the futures market on the tulips, okay? But if you could get your hands on a physical tulip bulb, you could trade the tulip bulb for a luxury home. Not an average price home, for a luxury home. You see, the tulips were the bubble then. Today, the homes are the bubble. This will come to an end. Now, if I was just a young whippersnapper starting out my career, I'd say, but Mike, it's never going to end. It's just going to keep going. You had 300 people come through an open house this weekend. How's that ever going to end? Oh, look, I've seen this movie before. I've seen this back in the 1980s. I mean, there was just traffic jams at all the open houses. But once it popped, the air, it started coming out and started to gain momentum, started to pick up speed. And then I couldn't sell any of the houses. I owned 3 of them at the time. I almost went bankrupt. I had to borrow a lot of money. It's just getting out of those. I still remember the pain. Oh, it was so painful. And the pain's going to come again, but people don't get that. People haven't seen this movie before. They haven't seen what's really going to happen. And right now, oh, believe me, these are the good times. The Moon Boys may be right. Maybe we double that stock market. S&P 5,000 now, maybe it doubles to 10,000. It's not my take. House now, $3 million for a 1,400 square foot house. Maybe that becomes $6 million next month. I don't know. But that is not my take. Once again, I've seen the movie before. It does come to an end when, anybody's guess, could happen next week. But when this one comes to an end, it's going to be so painful. Why is it going to be so painful? Because we've had it run up for 15 straight years without a recession. You see, they think they're doing us a favor by every time the recession starts, we're going to print 10, 15, 20 trillion dollars. No, that doesn't do us a favor. They're just when the system goes down this time, it's over. And I'm sorry. And if you're not prepared, well, I've warned you. And you can laugh at me all you want. He's just an old guy. He's just a boomer. And that's okay. But if you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Why not? I'm Tall Mike. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.